Technocop. Busted.
This week on Battle of the Ports, we are taking a look at what was called a great game on computer formats, but a lame game on console. Was this true? Well, let's jump into Grey Matter's 1988 title, Technocop. We're starting with the Amiga version. You play as a cop in a seedy futuristic urban city. Armed with a pistol, the player has to kill various thugs before the timer runs out. While the game has several levels, the backgrounds in the game don't change often. Kinda typical for the time. The other half of the game is a driving sequence, similar to Road Blasters but with a fraction of the fun. So how is Technocop as a game? Well, being totally honest, it's complete crap. But here's the thing, it could have been great if the driving sections were responsive. The gun turret is next to useless as aiming is just pure pot luck. The side-scrolling sections feature controls that don't actually respond when you press a button or move in a direction. It could also do with better level design. Most of the time, enemies are unavoidable. It's such a shame because I do like the idea behind this game, but sadly, I knew Technocop wouldn't be any good simply by the developer Grey Matter. Not one single game from Grey Matter can be called a quality title in my opinion. The Atari ST has a version of Technocop too. I wonder if this was the original and the Amiga being a port of this. The only reason I think that is because they're identical, but this Atari ST version is a little more responsive. Not by much, but it is a little faster to respond to inputs.
Technocop. Busted.
Razorsoft ported Technocop to the Mega Drive. Believe it or not, Razorsoft was one of the first third-party developers for the Mega Drive, and this game was part of an attempt by Razorsoft to test what sort of content Sega would allow in a game made for the Mega Drive. This port looks very much like the Amiga version, but plays so much better. I'm not saying it's good, mind you. Technocop on the Mega Drive is still pretty bad. The driving sections still have terrible aiming mechanics, but at least the side-scrolling sections are a lot more responsive. So much so that you can even see it. However, there are still times when the controls for fire don't seem to register when you want them to. Oh, this port also has a few extra speech samples.
busted,
Now you may be thinking that MS-DOS fans would have a game similar to the other versions seen so far. Well, apparently not. This port sucks even more, which I didn't think was possible. We get a choice of CGA and EGA color modes. I'm using EGA here. There's also 3 speed settings for slow PCs of the day. The thing is, the game is just so basic. It barely works. In fact, I have no idea how to jump in this version, which means I can't complete even the first stage. Oh my god, it just keeps getting worse. The Apple II port starts off promising with a nice colourful title screen, but then it all turns bad once the game starts. The driving sections have next to no cars on them. The controls are buggered. I'm playing with the keyboard controls and I'm not lying when I tell you the car can't drive straight. Then we get to the side-scrolling areas. What happened to the outside sections? Why are the stage designs changed? And where are the exploding bodies? Awful, just awful, but I have a feeling things may get worse. With every version of Technocop being rather poor so far, it's obvious that the ZX Spectrum version is gonna suck big time. But here's the thing, it doesn't. It's actually a really good game. Okay, well, maybe not a really good game, but it is competent. The driving sections control well and the side-scrolling sections, while not looking anything like the original, are really responsive. There are some issues, such as the enemy and your bullets being so small they're next to impossible to see, but at the end of the day, this is the most playable version of Technocop so far. Things just keep getting better. This is the Amstrad CPC version and it plays just as well as the ZX Spectrum version, but now it's in colour. We now have a new winner, but wait, there's one more port to go. finally we have the Commodore 64 port. Sadly, this is just as lame as all the other versions that came before the Specky and Amstrad. Crappy driving controls, unresponsive side-scrolling sections, and unfair deaths. And let's take a look at all those versions of Technocop running side by side.